Spikes and Rhye. The artist is Queen. Welcome to a bonus episode of Album Armageddon!
Welcome to a bonus episode of Album Armageddon. This episode is taking place as a couple of our hosts are dealing with some real life stuff just now. I'm your host, Cy Stevens, and joining me as always is Stu Whitehouse.
Hello.
And for this special bonus episode, Duane Pearson.
I'm going to say watcher.
Yeah, you can.
You can do that.
I thought that was your catchphrase, Stu. Watcher.
Well, it can be. It changes. I don't know. I don't really care.
As long as you don't go, yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
You can find all three of us, as well as the amazing Macaulays, Rob and Kath, over in our Facebook social media group just by searching for Album Armageddon on Facebook, funnily enough. Why not head over there now and give it a like and give it a share to your non-Armageddon related friends. So, what is Album Armageddon? Put simply, Album Armageddon is where we take two albums from a single band or artist, pair the tracks up, and discuss and decide on a winner for each track. So what are the rules? Rule 1, obviously, albums must have the same number of tracks in order for them to be matched up, so on occasion, there may be some creative licensing for this to happen. Rule 2, no live arena or stadium tracks, these are normally found elsewhere on the album in question or a previous album. Also, no interludes or skits. Rule 3, an artist can only arrive in Armageddon once a genuine and strong argument can be made for them to feature a second time. However, an album can only feature once. At the end of the show, we will create a super album on Spotify featuring the winning tracks.
As this is a bonus episode of Album Armageddon, as you can see, there are slightly less rules as normal. Firstly, there's no host decision in the event of a tie, because there will be no ties with only three of us. And because this episode doesn't belong in the canon of Album Armageddon, and there are no host suggestions, there'll be no Napalm Death card. As always, there will be no long, boring chats about the key of the song, just our thoughts, feelings, and occasional stories around the songs, with the occasional F-bomb thrown in for good measure. So, without any further delay, as our intro said, this bonus episode features Queen, and the albums are Greatest Hits 1 versus Greatest Hits 2. The reason for this isn't that we're just a bit mental, but all three of us know all of these songs very well, and less homework was required in order for the episode to be recorded. Both albums have 17 tracks, so before we begin with the backstory of the band and the albums, what does Queen mean to you, gentlemen?
Queen were basically the soundtrack of my adolescence. I kind of... both of these albums were on very, 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 very heavy rotation on my CD player. That's when we still had CDs, kids. Yeah, I know. Okay, boomer. So, yeah, listen to them a lot. Kind of super, I don't get a bit pervy, but like super intimate with these songs. Really, really kind of,
definitely.
Very formative musically.
Excellent. What about you, Stu?
A bit like Dwayne's, really. I mean, I think Queen were probably one of the first bands I can actually remember going out my way of going, no, that's the band I like. You know, because you know when you're a kid and you just like something because someone else does. I think that was the band which I actually liked. Or me and a couple of mates actually all liked together at the same time. So, and I mean, I was massively into Queen. Never seen them live.
Never. Oh,
but I had seen when Freddie Mercury did pass. I did go to that Wembley gig, so I did see three of them.
Ooh.
You know, and I was a part of the fan club then as well for about 5 years. So it was like quite, you know. I had really good memories of then as well, and also followed Roger Taylor's band as well called The Cross and all those kind of things. So, you know, I've got a lot of history with Queen, let's say. So, yeah. How about you then, Si?
Yeah, Queen's always been one of those bands that's always been there. I've always known Queen to be played in my house, whether that was when I was a little boy, and I remember my parents playing... it would have been The Great Pretender. It would have been Freddie's solo venture. And I remember vaguely like the news about him being ill, the rumors in the press and things like that, leading up to his death as well. So it's like, yeah, they've always been there. And I'm a bit like you, it was a small group of friends that we just liked Queen. there was no reason for it. It's not like we followed them from their career to start or anything like that. We just liked Queen. And I think it's probably one of us brought a CD of Queen. And I distinctly remember my first foray into Queen was Greatest Hits 2. Like actually owning CDs and music and that myself and having a collection. The Greatest Hits 2 was vividly remembered. So yeah. I think as well, there's one thing we'll have to remember is that I think this episode really needs to be called the As Much As I Love or the However episode, because I think you're going to hear that statement from the three of us so much during this show because
very likely.
It's absolutely brutal. I think this is the hardest battles where every song is a top song.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. So I don't know if you... Yes, Stu's already kind of alluded to something, and there might be some disagreements here. I don't know if you guys ever saw the episode of Dave Gorman when he's talking about the Scouting for Girls greatest hits, which basically was like four songs which were great hits, and then 4 songs which weren't, and then like an extra one. All of these songs are fucking greatest hits. They are all absolute stonkers. There's not one disappointing track.
But some are greater than others.
Some are greater than others, absolutely. But there's nothing here which you kind of go, well, that shouldn't really be there. Everything deserves to be on these albums.
There's a caveat. There's a caveat to that. I'll come to it when we go over the albums initially. There's a very, very good reason why every single one of these songs is a greatest hit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all down to what songs they chose and why they chose them.
Oh, sure.
And I think as well, what another good thing about this is and why they have so much resonance to a lot of people is, I was during like the research of what I was trying to, Freddie Mercury actually stated that we as the listeners needed to interpret his lyrics for ourselves. It's like everyone can wager what and guess to what a song's meaning is, but we'll never know what leads up to it. Never knows what the feeling is that made those words come out of him. And you just got to feel what's in your heart, and that's what they mean to you. And according to Freddie, that's exactly how the song was intended. If that's how you feel about it, that's what it meant.
I did not know that myself. Somebody been in the Queen fan club. What kind of a fan am I? Or was?
Yes.
Yeah.
You and your fan club.
Turn in your membership cards, Stu.
Okay, so a little bit back about Queen's biography. Queen, obviously, are a British rock band formed in London in 1970. A lot of people know this already through the movie, by Freddie Mercury, Brian May and Roger Taylor, and later joined by John Deacon. Their earliest works were influenced by progressive rock, hard rock, and heavy metal, but the band gradually ventured into more conventional and radio-friendly works by incorporating further styles such as arena rock and pop rock. This is all my own words, not Wikipedia in the slightest. Before forming Queen, May and Taylor had played together in the band Smile, and Freddie Mercury was a fan of Smile and encouraged them to experiment with more elaborate stage and recording techniques. He himself joined in 1970 and suggested the name Queen. Deacon was recruited the following February, and the band released their debut album in 1973. Queen were one of the biggest stadium rock bands in the world, and their performance at the 1985 Live Aid concert is ranked among the greatest in rock history by various publications. In August 1986, Mercury gave his last performance with Queen at Nebworth in England. Though he kept his condition private, Mercury was diagnosed with AIDS in 1987, and the band released 2 more albums in 1989 and 1991. And on the 23rd of November 1991, Mercury publicly revealed that he had AIDS, and the next day died of bronchopneumonia, a complication of his illness. 1 more album was released after this period, featuring Mercury's vocals, which was 1995's Made in Heaven. A previously unsalvageable song titled Face It Alone, which was recorded during the Miracle album, was released in October 2022, so just last year. 30 years since its recording, as a promotion for the Miracle Anniversary box set. Upon its release, Face It Alone became the most downloaded song worldwide for 5 days in a row.
Wow.
John Deacon retired in 1987, while May and Taylor continued to make sporadic appearances together. Since 2004, they have toured as Queen Plus, briefly with Paul Rodgers and currently with Adam Lambert. The Netflix documentary, The Show Must Go On, details the path that May and Taylor took during this time. Queen have been a global presence in popular culture for more than half a century. Estimates of their record sales range from 250 million to 300 million, making them one of the world's best-selling music artists. In 1990, Queen received the Brit Award for Outstanding Contribution to British Music. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001. And with each member having composed hit singles, all four were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2003. In 2018, they were presented the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. The band have been cited as an influence by many other musicians. However, moreover, like their music, the bands and artists that have claimed to be influenced by Queen or have expressed admiration for them are so diverse. It's unreal. I was looking through the list for this. Just as I broke it down because I wasn't listening to everyone, but so far that I had Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Dream Theater, Megadeth, Anthrax, Slipknot, Rob Zombie, Rage Against the Machine, Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, The Cult, Darkness, Kid Rock, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Muse, Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Flaming Lips, Marilyn Manson, The Killers, My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, Green Day, Carrie Underwood, George Michael, Robbie Williams, Adele, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Lil Nas X, Gangnam Style himself, Psy, and Siam Ryder, who
No
we
Scouting
will
for
be
Girls?
mentioning. No Scouting for Girls, no.
Oh, okay, interesting.
That was Elvis, not Queen, for the Scouting for Girls. We will be mentioning Sam Ryder as well a little bit later on. So, the two albums that we've picked. The first one is Greatest Hits, which was released worldwide on the 26th of October 1981. The album consisted of Queen's biggest hits since their first chart appearance in 1974 until 1980. And there was no universal track listing or cover art for the album. This is where I was saying how the choice they made for why every song's a greatest hits. Each territory's tracks were dependent on what singles had been released there and were successful. So the UK's album is completely different to Canada's, completely different to America's, which is completely different to Germany's.
That's really weird.
Yeah, it's like
very cool. That's very
cool.
Absolutely
amazing that there's so many different versions of the album.
Department mental.
Yeah, definitely. Greatest Hits is the band's best-selling album to date, with total sales of over 25 million copies. It reached number one on the UK albums chart, spending 4 weeks at the top, and sold consistently well throughout the 1980s, becoming the fourth biggest selling album of the decade. As of July 2022, Greatest Hits has spent over 1,000 weeks on the UK albums chart and has been certified 23 times platinum with sales of over 7 million copies, making it the best-selling album of all time in the UK, which I think is amazing.
That is just incredible. Yeah, those numbers are just unbelievable.
Yeah, and following the release of the Queen biopic Bohemian Rhapsody in 2018, it obviously re-entered the charts worldwide. Greatest Hits 2 was released a decade later on the 28th of October 1991, and the album consisted of Queen's biggest hits between 1981 and 1991. It reached number one on the UK albums chart and is the 10th best-selling album in the UK with sales of 3.9 million copies. You can see why Brian and John don't have to work that much now, don't you? It's the 7th best-selling album in Germany and the 13th best-selling album in France. Freddie Mercury designed the crest for the Greatest Hits Album 2 cover using the astrological signs of the four members. There's two lions representing the Leos. There's one crab for the Cancerian, Brian May, and there is a Virgo representing Freddie Mercury. And I didn't know that myself. I was looking at that and I actually saw the crab today and I was like, I've never seen that before. No matter how many years I've looked at that album cover, I only noticed the crab today. So, thoughts, gentlemen, before we begin the battle of all battles?
Well, they are just one of the... Whether you like them or not, on paper, the amount of money they've made and the amount of impacts they've had on the industry, you can't deny. If you don't even like them, you can't deny that they've definitely got a foothold or very much of a presence and influenced a lot of people. And to be fair, I think most of the people who you just reeled off, and I know you said it wasn't a complete list, was very rock orientated, but there's lots of dance acts and hip hop acts and loads of people who still
country,
exactly, country, like everybody, there's always something, and when you hear a Queen song as well, Freddie's got a very, very, Freddie and Brian, very distinctive Brian's got one kind of guitar playing way, and Freddie's voice. Everybody knows what Freddie's voice is like, so you can't escape. I mean, I still like them today, obviously, but I don't listen to them near half as much as I used to. But it's just I had some very happy memories, and then we're researching Queen. Greatest Hits 1 and 2. I've not listened to for quite a while. I was really enjoying just singing along and just getting back into it and all that kind of thing.
I was thinking about it. I hadn't actually properly sat down and listened to these albums for probably about 25 years. I know, a super probably sat down and I actually kind of went, okay, I should probably listen to them again in their entirety. And I'd forgotten how much I absolutely love all these songs. I was kind of dancing away as I'm listening. It's just going, actually, these are just cracking songs. So if nothing else comes from this, just thank you for sort of reigniting my love for Queen. It's just amazing.
Also, though, we've added something to it. If you like every single song, now you're going to have to battle these songs against each other.
Be hard. it's gonna be so hard.
I know, it's like choosing your favourite child, isn't it?
So yeah, should we get to it, or do you want to add some more?
Yeah, I've done one thing that I was going to ask you guys. What are your thoughts on the Queen Plus? Have you experienced any?
I have never had an inkling to see them. I've never even had an inkling to hear any live recordings.
I've not Queen. Heard from people who have been. Adam Lambert is very, very good, but I have no desire to go and see it.
They're probably a certified cover band.
Certified cover with some original members,
because they have two members in the actual original band.
I recommend seeing the Netflix documentary. Other streaming services are available, but you won't find it anywhere else. It's on Netflix. The show must go on because it is a really good documentary, and it almost highlights how much Adam Lambert struggled with taking on that role.
It's big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I mean, there's one section of the actual documentary where he's on stage and he goes, "I know what you're thinking. You're not Freddie," and he's like, "Yeah, no shit." And he's like, he fully knew it was a poison chalice. It was destined to fail. But even the band got behind him, and it's they first introduced him as the new guy, and now they introduce him as the other guy.
That's nice.
All right.
But I think there is someone that is a UK performer at the moment that is making a very strong case to be the UK Queen Plus singer.
Okay, who's that?
I think that's Sam Ryder.
Oh, okay.
And we'll come into that a little bit more with a couple of the tracks.
Sure.
So let's begin the epic track battles.
Oh, here we go.
This is going to be so painful. Okay, so the first track battle is Bohemian Rhapsody versus A Kind of Magic.
Get out the big guns, why not? Start them off.
Yeah, totally. So Bohemian Rhapsody was written by Freddie Mercury, and it was first released in October 1975 and taken from A Night at the Opera. It stayed at number 1 for 9 weeks. After the death of Freddie Mercury, it was re-released and spent another 5 weeks at the top of the charts, making it the only song in recorded history to be Christmas number 1 twice. It revived the band's career in the USA after the song was featured in the Mike Myers movie Wayne's World in an iconic car scene. In 1999, Bohemian Rhapsody was voted the best song of the millennium. In 2009, the Muppets cover version became one of the most downloaded videos in internet history with 20 million hits worldwide. The Muppets, 20 million hits. A Kind of Magic, however.
Love some Muppets.
And so did 29 million other people love them.
It was a good video. I remember it well. It was a good video.
The title track of the album, released in March 1986, For a Kind of Magic, was written by Roger Taylor for the film Highlander, and the single cover features an image of Clancy Brown in character as the film's villain, the Kurgan. The single reached number 3 in the UK, and the finger clicks heard at the beginning of the song are actually performed by Chris Rhye.
Oh, okay.
Which is a bit of a random pub quiz fact for you. So, Stu, where do your loyalties lie on this one?
Jesus. I mean, any sane person would actually say Bohemian Rhapsody, because It's Bohemian Rhapsody.
How can it not be Bohemian
It's Bohemian Rhapsody.
But we are talking to you, Stu, so...
However, A Kind of Magic... See, that album, I freaking love everything about that album. Oh, no, not every song, but it's a really, really strong album. But is A Kind of Magic stronger than Bohemian Rhapsody? Right, the recording techniques were very different in these albums. The Kind of Magic was the first album what Queen recorded completely digital, and I think it shows a little bit because Bohemian Rhapsody still has that 1970s way of recording. It's all very analog,
very kind
raw.
of
That's
rough.
it, yeah.
I say
and
rough,
I think,
but it's
yeah,
real.
no, I know what you mean. Like early Motown and all that. It sounds nothing like early Motown. I'm not comparing the two, but like the kind of technology or techniques they did then, it has some sort of more warmth, and so I'm going to lean more over to Bohemian Rhapsody because I do love A Kind of Magic. It's such a great single-on song, don't get me wrong, and it's like me kicking my child right now, so not good. But I'm going to go for Bohemian Rhapsody because it's Bohemian Rhapsody. You can't vote against that. 20 million, you said.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that was the Muppets, to be fair. But...
14 weeks at number one on 2 separate occasions. You can't.
I know, exactly.
It's
two Christmas number ones. I mean,
yeah, that's unheard of. I think I know which way you're going to go with this one, Duane.
I'm with Stu. It's really, really hard. It's A Kind of Magic is a fucking cracker of a song. It's like... But yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody. I can't not do Bohemian Rhapsody.
I
can't not. Because it's fucking Bohemian Rhapsody. You can't not.
It's Kind of Magic has one of my favourite Brian May solos.
It is a good solo.
It's an amazing solo.
But is it better than Bohemian Rhapsody?
Oh, mate. I wrote this down because once it came into my head, I wasn't forgetting it. I don't think it matters in regards to what of the other 169 other Queen studio tracks you put against Bohemian Rhapsody. There's only going to be one winner here.
Yep.
It's true.
I don't think you could. It doesn't matter. Bohemian
Isn't it
Rhapsody
odd, though?
versus
Isn't it
anything.
odd? Isn't it odd? They started the album, Volume 1, with that song. They should have ended with that song. It's like, right then, let's shoot all our guns right at the very start. I mean, trust me, we're going to get through all the other tracks, of course. But, what if you were doing an album, would you put that one at the start or the beginning? At the end?
It's an opener. It's an opener.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's an epic opener. Jesus.
It's a good opener, but I think it's also more along the lines the closer was their live closer as well.
Oh, yeah, it's a live closer. But album opener, live closer.
I think it was...
So what are you going for, Si? What are you voting for?
Yeah, it's unanimous. It's Bohemian Rhapsody for me.
All the way. Wow.
That's a shocker.
That's the first one. Right, okay. So the next one is another one bites the dust fees, Under Pressure.
Yeah, another 2 big songs. The first one, Another One Bites the Dust, was written by John Deacon. It was the first time Queen had strayed away from their rock roots. There's a great scene in the Bohemian Rhapsody movie that highlights how the song came together. The song was the biggest single of 1980 in America and sold over 7 million records worldwide. The song arguably cemented Queen as the biggest band in the world. Whereas Under Pressure was originally released in October 1981 as a single, and it was later included on the album Hot Space in 1982. The single charted in the top 10 in 10 countries and became Queen's second number 1. The bass line, everyone should know, was sampled by Vanilla Ice for his 1990 single Ice Baby.
No, it was not. Right, okay, so Vanilla Ice asked Queen if he could sample it. They said no, so he re-recorded it. So it's actually not a sample, it's a re-recording of the bass line.
It's still a loophole. It didn't work for him, though, because
Vanilla Ice is shit.
They sued the arse off of him and they ended up getting writing credit for it on Ice Baby.
Well, that's pocket. The royalties on that are probably pocket change, though, compared to what they get normally.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about how many records they're selling, with how many millions we're talking about.
It's a principle. It's a principle.
Yeah, I think that would have been a time as we discussed it on the Public Enemy episode. I think that would have been around the sort of time that sampling would have been, people were suing because of samples and re-records and loopholes and things like that. So there would have been a huge principle of the matter rather than what they were actually going to get out of it. They just wanted their name on something that they'd done.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you there. Sorry.
No, that's cool. That's cool. It's pretty much where we were. I mean, for me, this is the Battle of Deacon.
Yes, they're both very bass forward.
100%. I don't think enough credit's given to John Deacon. He was a phenomenal bass player.
I was thinking this exact same thing. Like, because I play bass. I'm a bass player, and I'd never really kind of paid attention. I think I was listening to Queen before I'd really got into playing, and sort of now listening as a bass player, like his parts are just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. He's an amazing bass player, and I don't, like you say, he does not get enough credit.
If he wasn't in a band with Mercury's vocals and May's guitar playing,
he's just overshadowed by two other but he's amazing. And can I just point out, personal opinion here, not a fucking slap in sight, and he's still amazing. Fucking slap.
But he was also renowned and famous for being just low key. He never wanted to be in the limelight. He wanted to be the guy in the back. If anything, I think he could get away with it. He could just play in a room, and so he wouldn't have to be in front of an audience.
Standard bass player. I'm exactly like that. But he is so good. Some of the little fills, it just sounds so effortless, and he's just so good. Honestly, more credits for that man, please.
100%. I'm going, and this is probably a bit of a controversial decision, I'm going with Under Pressure. Because as much as we're talking about the bass lines of Deacon, it's the Battle of Deacon, so we've got to find something else to make the decision. And I think the harmonies of Bowie and Mercury, coupled with that bass line, and the future influence that the song had on other music artists, well, I use that term loosely with Vanilla Ice, I think it has to be Under Pressure for me.
Okay. I've marked it.
Superb.
The vote has been cast.
It is set in stone. So, Duane.
Oh, do you want me to go next? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You go next.
Oh, this one's tricky because, again, they're just both amazing songs. Honestly, this is a flip of a coin. This is really a flip of a coin. I think Another One Bites the Dust just ekes it for me. I mean, I love Under Pressure, but that dum 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 dum. It's too iconic. It's Another One Bites the Dust for me.
Okay, Stu.
You sure? Right.
The choice is all yours.
It is. I decide who wins.
Don't let it go to your head, boy.
I mean, Another One Bites the Dust is iconic. That bass line is incredible. But Under Pressure, David Bowie, it's perfect. His delivery is perfect.
And there is the bass line of Deacon there as well.
I know. It's Under Pressure. It's Bowie. I'm gonna have to go for Bowie. I'm sorry, but even though
this is a Queen thing, not a Bowie thing. Thank you.
I know, but it actually, to be fair, Bowie and Freddie complement each other so well.
No, they do.
I'm really surprised they didn't do more collaborations, but it is what it is. So no, my vote is cast. Under Pressure, it is.
It is indeed. Okay, so
you're dead to me, Stu.
About bloody time.
Now, children. So, battle 3 is Killer Queen versus Radio Gaga. Killer Queen was written by Freddie Mercury and released in October 1974 from the album Sheer Heart Attack. It became the band's breakout single throughout the world and was released in the UK as a double A side alongside Flick of the Wrist. The song is about a high-class girl and has been characterized as Mercury's piano-led paean to a Moet quaffing courtesan. Try saying that when you've not been drinking.
They're not even words, man. You're just making it up.
He's so intellectual outside.
I know, yes, it's all a lie. Radio Gaga was written by Roger Taylor for the Works album and released in January 1984. The track was inspired by MTV and its itself inspired a video based on Fritz Lang's famous silent movie Metropolis. Radio Gaga reached #1 in 19 separate countries. So,
That's just incredible.
yeah, it's just absolute mental numbers we're talking here. Stu, what is your choice on this one?
Wow. See, I have to say, I've never really done a top 3 Queen's favourite albums, to be fair. But in that top, and it does sometimes go to the I love The Works. It's a great album. I don't think it was a very popular album at the time. I mean, it had some absolutely amazing hits, obviously, like Radio Go-Go and things like that. But there was also some other fantastic songs which never get the light of day. But I find Radio Gaga a bit too... It's a great song, don't get me wrong, but it's Killer Queen's way better. The structure of that song is amazing. The piano in that song is so complex compared to Radio Gaga. It's just... But they're both good songs. It's so annoying, this is... I'm going to go for Killer Queen because I think it's a better song. Radio Gaga's good. It's got the good sing along, got the audience participation with the clap and all that kind of stuff, and which I think they really were famous for around that time when they released that album. That scene, where everybody's clapping and stuff. But I've just been listening to Killer Queen today, and it's such a good song. The way he goes up as well in his voice, and it's just it's Killer Queen. That's it. Done.
It's set in stone. It's done.
It's done. I'm not going back.
Duane, what's your thoughts on this one?
I'm exactly with Stu. This, again, 2 absolutely great songs, 2 iconic songs. We're going to be saying this a lot. You're going to be bored of us saying it, I'm sure. 2 amazing songs. Again, I agree with Stu. Killer Queen just ekes it for me again. It's just a little bit more interesting, I think, musically.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
That's for me. So your vote is pointless, so might as well just move on.
So my opinion that doesn't matter at all.
It does. It will go in the archive. It matters. Every opinion matters.
As much as Killer Queen, for me, is pivotal to the history of the band. The drum beat of Gaga just hits absolutely right.
It is a good song.
It is such an amazing song.
Oh,
But I mean, they both are. It's like, I'm not sad that Killer Queen's won, but I'm sad that Radio Gaga's not one. It's a really weird feeling, this. And you can timestamp Radio Gaga as well as the movement away from the oral exclusivity of radio. And it became a more visual medium with MTV and music videos gripping music fans worldwide more. But then is that a bad thing that it became a more visual thing than audio thing? It's still 2 great fucking songs. I'm just gonna go with Radio Gaga to be pedantic, and so it doesn't
just give a bit of balance,
sad.
But
yeah, so it's not sad that it's got no votes because it doesn't deserve no votes.
How about here's a radical thing, right? Okay, so we're deciding which is going to be for the super album. But what's left over, there could be the Super B side album.
The B side album.
And then we've covered everything.
That's it. It's like we make the show completely pointless. Okay, so the next battle in place is Fat Bottom Girls versus I Want It All. Fat Bottom Girls, written by Brian May and released in October 1978, was a double A-side with Bicycle Race. Both tracks came from the album Jazz, and the cover for the single featured a naked girl from the famous nude bicycle race staged to promote the single in the UK. Obviously, this caused a public outcry and was altered to show the lady wearing painted-on panties. Both songs refer to each other as well. Near the end of Fat Bottom Girls, the song references Bicycle Race with Mercury shouting, "Get on your bike and ride," and Bicycle Race reciprocates with the line, "Fat Bottom Girls, they'll be riding today." I Want It All was taken from the album The Miracle, and after a 2-year hiatus from the European charts, Queen returned with his classic rock track and performance video. The song reached #1 in many European countries. Obviously, we didn't get into double digits for that one because Queen didn't highlight the fact that it was in double digits, so it reached a lot. Okay, so Duane, what do you think? What's your leaning to on this one?
Again, both these great songs. Fat Bottom Girls, although I have to say, kind of a bit Reminds me a little bit of the Spinal Tap. Big bottom. Is it like big bottom? Talk about bun cakes. My girl's got them. Kind of,
Yeah,
a little bit of that going on. So kind of that kind of tempers my love for Fat Bottom Girls. The song, well, and the people. That's fine. I'm good with that too. A little. But I just think I Want It All's just a better song generally. I just think I Want It All is just a stronger song. So that's the way I'm going to go with this one. I Want It All.
Excellent. Yeah, it's getting so hard already, and it's such a close battle for me as well. It's one thing I think I find is that you can go out in the street and sing "I Want It All" in today's age. Don't know if you could get away with singing "Fat Bottom Girls" at the top of your voice in this day and age.
I don't know, because it seems to be played a lot in places, and
let's try it.
You
You need it like an Album Armageddon TikTok, and we should do it on that and then see what happens.
We'll be cancelled.
Yeah, 100%. No, episode 3, we're cancelled. For me, the harmonised a cappella vocals on "I Want It All" before bursting into May's solo intro is just chef kiss.
Yeah,
you know, it's pretty much Queen 101 there, and I think that's what's going to edge it for me. Yep, I want it all. It's there. I want it all.
I'll have the pointless vote then. Hang on. Right, so Fat Bottom Girls v I Want It All. Around about the Miracle album time, I was starting to drift away from Queen. They weren't sort of speaking to me in that way. I mean, they were very Queen. Obviously, I Want It All, classic track, really good track. But my vote has to go to Fat Bottom Girls. It's just a way better song. Anybody agree with me?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's another one of those. I'm not sad.
Yeah,
I am, but I'm not. Exactly.
It's just, I don't know. I find that song just the better one. Yeah, it's a bit. Could they, if they would made that song today, would they get away with it? They probably wouldn't even release that song today.
No, it's dated.
It's the sound. Yeah, it's the sound as well. Again, going back to the recording technique back then too, because I wanted Miracle and Innuendo and all that with, and actually even from Kind of Magic, it's all very, very clinical sound.
Overproduced.
Where I would say Bohemian Rhapsody is overproduced, but it's not got a clinical sound.
It's a very clean. So I noticed that with a lot of the Greatest Hits 2 stuff, there's a lot of like synthy stuff. Very kind of. There was a solo. I can't remember which song it was, and I was going, oh, there's like the guitar effects on this are just not great. I can't remember which one it was. I was listening last night and I was half asleep. But yeah, I was just like, these guitar effects just don't work for me. Like when you compare it to like the proper like analog sort of stuff of like Great Six.
Yeah.
So I'd agree with that. But the song is still great. So I think that shines.
And it's a personal preference anyway.
Yeah,
most definitely. So okay, cool. So I Want It All wins that one.
Okay, so we move on to Bicycle Race versus I Want to Break Free. So, as I said, Bicycle Race was a double A-side with Fat Bottom Girls. So, if you want to know about all the release details, rewind for about 2 minutes and it'll be all exactly the same. The lyrics are topical for the time and contain social, political, and pop culture references such as religion, Vietnam War, Watergate, cocaine, fictional characters such as Peter Pan, Frankenstein, and Superman. And the film's Jaws. And the film's Jaws. And the film Jaws. And Star Wars. I Want to Break Free was written by John Deacon and released in April 1984. It was the second single from the Works album, and it remained in the charts for over 15 weeks and became one of their most successful hits. It also featured one of the most iconic music videos with the band all dressed as...
What a great video.
Yes.
Men should dress as women more often, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that'll take off?
I've done it.
I have. All dressed as women. This has got to be a segue here. Explain.
Yeah, so as I've mentioned, I'm a bass player. So a band I played with was a bunch of anaesthetists at the hospital I worked at in England, and we were doing a Halloween party, and they decided, because it was Halloween, they wanted to do some Rocky Horror Picture Show songs. I'm like, I don't understand the link between Rocky Horror Picture Show and Halloween. It's just apart from the word horror. It's like it's not horror, but anyway. So I said, yeah, okay, that's fine. If we do some Rocky Horror Picture Show songs, we all have to dress as characters from Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think that's the way it goes. Anyway, so I went as Magenta, the maid. And I looked fabulous,
Excellent.
I have to say.
I bet
but they all fucking wimped out on me and all didn't do the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I was the only one.
Everyone else turned up as normal.
They were all like just wearing other like normal Halloween costumes, and I was in this like fucking French maid costume. I've got great legs,
Excellent.
just so you know. I might dig it out and post a picture of that in when you post this. Just
Yeah,
That's it,
excellent.
the Album Armageddon TikTok.
Yeah.
Another reason for us to get cancelled. No, I fucking owned it. I owned it.
Obviously, the video, for that reason, was banned in many areas of America. I don't understand why.
America's so forward-thinking and progressive. I don't understand that at all.
So, let's go to Stew. I think I know where you're going to go with this one, based on your comments before. But
Which were? I'm going to go. I want to break free. I love the work.
Really?
It's a great album, yeah. And it's, even though yes, it is a very clinical song, I suppose you could say, and you think, why haven't I gone for Bicycle Race? Because Fat Bottom Girls, and they're all very linked. You know, obviously the two songs are basically next to each other for a reason.
Mhm.
You know, in these great hits. But I loved. I always loved it when I was a kid when it came out. I just loved it. I loved the bit where was it Freddie Mercury was doing the vacuuming, or was that John Deacon? I can't remember.
No, Freddie's doing the
it was-
vacuum.
Was it very?
And
And I
Brian
just
May's reading the
loved it. I loved
newspaper.
everything about it. It just used to make me have a big smile on my face every time I heard it. So that's where my vote's going, because it puts a smile on my face.
Okay, I think that Breakthru is an absolutely iconic music video, and it's the first video I can recall seeing from Top of the Pops
Oh, okay.
on a Thursday night without looking back at what videos were on Top of the Pops. I remember it vividly actually being on the TV. But again, it's the little things, and the bicycle bells into the guitar solo is just legendary. It's just so nice, and it reminds me so much of the intro to Money by Pink Floyd with the cash registers into the guitar intro. So similar to that, but so nice. So to tie it up, I'm going to go with Bicycle Race, leaving
Ooh.
Duane with the unenviable decision of which
Oh,
track goes through.
Okay, so my logic reason for this, there's a particular line in Bicycle Race which is a massive negative for me. You talked about it?
Yes.
You talked about it?
I am.
So the line is,
I know where it's going.
Jaws was never my scene and I don't like Star Wars. Sorry. No. I want to break free. For that reason alone.
Would you want to know the crazy thing about it is that Freddie Mercury loves Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. But, but I Want to Break Free is like a much better song. And that video is just like great. I'm joking. I mean, they're both great songs, but I Want to Break Free.
I think you picked the right one, by the way.
Friends again.
As again,
Of course,
I'm not
always.
sad.
No. But Bicycle Race is a good song.
It is, isn't it? It's. I think for me, Bicycle Race is the better of the two A sides. But
No, I'd say no. I picked the one
That's
I
it. No,
want.
you've agreed. That's it. It's in stone. You agreed. Okay, the next battle is You're My Best Friend versus Innuendo. You're My Best Friend was written by John Deacon and released in June 1976 from Night at the Opera. Deacon's first Queen single release, which had the unfortunate task of following Bohemian Rhapsody. However, it did still become a worldwide hit. Innuendo was the title track from the Innuendo album, and it was released in January 1991. The track was Queen's first 90s release, and the 6.5-minute epic debuted in the British charts at #1. It was a huge hit all over Europe, and the music video won many prestigious awards. Don't know which awards? Wikipedia didn't go into that, just many of the awards that were prestigious. So I'll go. You finished that last one, Dwayne. So let's go you first. You're My Best Friend or Innuendo?
Love. I know Stu said earlier on he doesn't like. I think that was probably before we started, but he said he didn't like Innuendo. I like Innuendo. I think it's a great song. But is it better than You're My Best Friend? No. You're My Best Friend. I remember, oh god, so this is another random thought. I only ever saw this movie once and it was at the cinema. So there was a movie, I think it was called Peter's Friends. There was a lot of English actors, comedy actors, I think Stephen Fry, Hugh Laurie, and a whole load of other people. And this song was in that movie. And I just remember when I was at cinema going, oh, I like this song. It's Queen. I love Queen. Yay. That's the only thing I remember about the movie. Weirdly, is that this song was in it. But anyway, so yeah, You're My Best Friend.
Okay, I think I know where you're going, Stu.
You don't, but go on. You go first.
Oh, okay. For me, the vocalized harmonies of Queen is well known throughout so many of their biggest tracks. And I think it's beautifully demonstrated on Best Friend. But
No,
there is a but.
Let the man speak, Dwayne.
Innuendo is in my top 2 Queen songs after Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, big.
Now that is high praise.
That is exceptionally high praise. The bolero drum beat, the flamenco guitar, the operatic interlude, the hard rock of early Queen, everything is there. And if we lived in a world where there was no Bohemian Rhapsody, then I would probably be declaring this the Queen's greatest ever track.
Ooh.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, I really love Innuendo. And it's everything about it. It's such a darker song to what you know from Queen. It's the darkest song on both albums.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I just think because it's so dark and so different, it's just so good. So, yeah, for me, Innuendo.
What's your answer? Stuart?
Dead air, never good, is it? Never good for an audience, dead air.
Yeah, but the tension is palpable.
Right, I did, and I will still maintain. You thought I said I didn't like Innuendo, the song.
Oh, you talking about the album? Oh.
I don't overly like.
Ah, okay.
This song, even though I don't give it as much praise as what our Simon has just given it, but fuck me, when that song gets going, and in near the last quarter, it's just this crescendo of just everything's just thrown at it, and it's just amazing. You are right; it's really dark and that. And did you that one I have listened to on headphones? I think you mentioned it before we started recording about headphones. That song, it just bounces all around your ears. Yeah. It's absolutely incredible. The production skill on that one.
And if you're listening to it on headphones, you pick it up on it more. The song is that technical as opposed to what they normally do. You actually hear one of them counting the drums in to start with. It's like you actually hear them trying to keep count on it. Just you could see how hard it was for them. But it's like if Queen are doing something so technical.
This is tough, man. This is tough because I think out of the 2 songs, Innuendo is a far more technical, better song than Your Best Friend. But Your Best Friend, an absolute classic. Hello, do you know any Queen songs? No, I don't. Oh, let me just play you 3 chords of this song. Oh, yeah, I know that one. You know, it's that nobody will know Innuendo unless you're actually into Queen, really, if you think about it. And also, you've got to be invested in that song because you've got to get. It's a bit of a slog at the start, I think, but then it builds and builds and builds, and it's incredible. You know, where You're My Best Friend.
Could you say the same thing about Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yes.
And we've just declared that the world's greatest track ever produced by Queen.
You know what? Innuendo it is.
You're no longer Dwayne's best friend.
That's it. Marked.
No, but everything he said and everything you said is absolutely right. It's a great song. They're both great songs.
It is.
Said it a million times. Both great songs.
Really
but it's so hard. Why did I agree to this?
Tough one.
This is like pitching my cats against each other. Actually, that's fun. We should do that.
Next month on the Album Armageddon TikTok.
Bit shorter episodes if they're on TikTok.
Yeah, definitely. Don't Stop Me Now versus It's a Hard Life next. Don't Stop Me Now was written by Freddie Mercury and released in January 1979. I can't believe it's that old. It's the second single from Jazz and a top 10 in most European countries. In 2005, it was voted the best driving song by Top Gear viewers. Don't know how much weight that puts on it, but best driving song.
None.
It's a Hard Life was written by Freddie Mercury for the Works album. It was released in July 1984, and the track opens with a line from the opera Vesti la Gibra. I am sure someone will correct my pronunciation of that. And features all of the famous Queen trademarks. It was Queen's first picture disc release. So, Stu, where are you on this one?
This one's actually a no-brainer. It's obviously going to be Don't Stop Me Now, because it's the song which is at every family party. It's the song that make everybody extremely happy. It's a song, if you're sad, it makes you happy. And if you're happy, it makes you even more happier. I mean, what's there not to like about this song? And, it's got all the bits in there where, you go, whoa, we've got all those bits in there. They're all fantastic. So It's a Hard Life, very good song, off one of my favourite albums. But it's not as good as Don't Stop Me Now. Simple as that. Again, that's another Queen song, which if you don't know who Queen are and you hear a few bars of that, you'll go, oh, it's that song, isn't it?
You hear that piano just tonight.
Yep.
That's it.
That's
I know the song.
Yeah. So that's my vote cast, and it was probably the shortest thing I'm going to say about anything on this.
Excellent. Duane, where are you on this one?
So I think they did like a poll of like songs which make you happy. So like when you hear them, like this song makes me happy, and I think this featured along with Mr. Blue Sky by ELO. And honestly, that's like we could do like an ELO one of these, I'm sure. But Don't Stop Me Now is one of those songs that never fails to get a party going. And I'll be honest, Key of F, if you're interested, that's one I do know because I play it in my band, and it's our final encore song. Always fucking works, goes down a storm. Don't Stop Me Now.
Okay. To me, it's a really close matchup. Not that my opinion matters at all. But can anyone else hear Our House by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young in the chorus of It's a Hard Life? It's the way that Freddie sings like...
Our house.
No, that's the wrong one.
That
one was Our House. It's a very, 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 very fine house with 2 cats in the yard.
Oh, that was used on an advert for something.
Yeah, and it's like when I hear It's a Hard Life, the way that Freddie sings It's a Hard Life.
There's a very, very similar melody.
Yeah, I really hear that.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to go for the controversial choice here. As popular as Don't Stop Me Now is, I prefer It's a Hard Life. Just because I like being different.
This is a good song.
Okay, Mr. Contrary.
That is me. Okay, that was the shortest debate over on that one. That
was easy.
Yes.
That was just easy.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we might have the same issue with this one. It's Save Me versus Breakthru. Save Me was written by Brian May from the Game album and released in January 1980, almost 6 months before the album was actually featured on. It was a hit throughout Japan and Europe, and the song was written about Freddie Mercury when he was in the middle of a breakup. Breakthru was taken from the Miracle album and released in June 1989, and the video for the track was filmed on a private railway in Cambridgeshire and featured a steam train dubbed the Miracle Express.
Oh, that's funny. Sorry.
For me, it's a tough one because it's Deacon's bass line in Breakthru, and it just drives the beginning. However, iconic.
Yeah.
However, I don't like the a cappella intro to Breakthru that leads up to that.
Oh no.
And I know that's what Freddie's about, and it's like highlighting his vocal range. I just don't know why. I just don't like it. So again, possible controversial decision, but Save Me has the emotional side to Queen that's not often heard, and an amazing Brian May solo. So that's why it's getting my pick. Stu.
Excellent. Well, Save Me is the better song. Breakthru is okay, but it's a fun song. We all have the bass line. But Save Me, it has got that emotional, proper kick in it, hasn't it? So Save Me just gets my vote 100%. I mean, I like Breakthru. This is really hard. This ridiculous, this stupid competition we've done.
Yeah, who had the idea for
Whose
this?
idea was this?
Breakthru. I don't know. Breakthru. That I had really fond memories of Breakthru because that album, Miracle. Even though when it was released, I think at the time I loved it. But when you get a bit older, when you sort of analyse it a bit more with adult ears or whatever, it wasn't as good. But I remember buying the single, the 12-inch, the picture 12-inch, the album, the picture album, the cassette, the CD. You know, and everything. And it was like a few years later going, oh, actually, the album's not really. It's all right, but you know,
Stu, I think you counted for about a couple of million of those sales that we were talking about.
He is their sales.
So, but yes, it saved me for me. How about you, Duane?
Again, this one's tricky. My vote doesn't matter. Just so for balance, I'm going to say Breakthru. Just to feel like it's been
really?
represented. No,
I'll put you down for Breakthru.
Thanks. Honestly, I don't know. Save Me is a good song. It's a bloody good song.
I think it's a surprising good song as well, because it's one of those ones that if you don't know Queen, you don't know that song.
Yeah.
And then you listen to the Greatest Hits album, or you listen to the Game album, and you hear that, and that's going to blow you away.
Definitely.
Anyway, we're moving on to, and I think this is we're back to the big guns here. It's Crazy Little Thing Called Love versus Who Wants to Live Forever. Crazy Little Thing Called Love was written by Freddie Mercury in the bathtub and released in October 1979 from the Game album. The song was Queen's first US #1 single, and it was also the song that inspired John Lennon out of exile to record his comeback album, Double Fantasy. That's just an immense fact that there's Queen is influencing John Lennon out of exile. Who Wants to Live Forever was written by Brian May from the A Kind of Magic album. Released in September 1986, the ballad was composed by Brian on the way home after the band had first viewed the rough cut of the film Highlander. It became one of the central themes of the movie, and the video featured the full National Philharmonic Orchestra, 40 choir boys, and 2,000 candles. It's not a fun one, this. Duane, I don't want to talk about this one because it's just so close. So away you go, Duane.
Fuck off. Thanks, you bastards. There's a lot of pressure to go first on this one. Okay, so I have an issue with Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and it's a personal issue. I'm not sure if I've mentioned, but I do play in a band, and I've played in several bands, and Crazy Little Thing Called Love is one of those songs which I have played many times with bands in the past. It always goes down really, really well, but it's just there's kind of like that thing with it for me now that I've played it too many times. There's other songs, and it always gets a great reaction, and it kind of makes me kind of resent it. So there's Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. Fucking hate that song. Summer of '69, again, I hate that song just because, there's nothing wrong with the song, it's fine, but once you've played it a million times, and you're just and so annoyingly, Crazy Little Thing Called Love is kind of falling into that kind of thing for me. But it's a great song. If I kind of step back from that personal issue, then actually I would say it's a great song. But Who Wants to Live Forever? I think it's more Queen. If you kind of were to break down Queen into their themes, ideas, kind of its sound. I think Who Wants to Live Forever is more Queen than Crazy Little Thing Called Love. I think Crazy Little Thing Called Love's a bit Elvis-y. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I know
Yeah,
never a fan. Never really a fan of Elvis. So I'm gonna go. It's tricky. It is tricky, but I'm gonna go Who Wants to Live Forever.
Okay, Stu.
No, you first.
No. I insist. Okay, I'll go first. I mean, if you listen to Sam Ryder's latest, I said I was going to mention him earlier on. If you listen to Sam Ryder's latest single, which is called "Fault and Lost," I think you can hear the Queen influence from "Who Wants to Live Forever" on him. The song does feature Brian May, but I'm talking more along the influence of Freddie's vocal inflections. It's just like the song is just an audition for him to be Queen plus Sam Ryder. And I could probably get behind that. After listening to his single, I could really get behind that. But I digress. Crazy Little Thing Called Love is one of the songs that made me pick up a guitar and want to learn to play it. However, I can't fucking play it. So, Who Wants to Live Forever reminds me of Highlander, and I can watch Highlander, and I'm capable of watching Highlander. And it does also have the best Freddie vocal performances. Yeah, Who Wants to Live Forever? Because I can watch Highlander and I can't play Crazy Little Thing Called Love. And it annoys me for that very reason.
Right. My
insignificant opinion, Stu,
it doesn't matter. No, it is significant. Because I'm also picking Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. What?
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Who Wants to Live Forever? I don't really like Crazy Thing Called Love. I just think it's an annoying rock and roll by the numbers. Nothing. Even as a kid, I never really liked it. Who Wants to Live Forever?
It's the least Queen-sounding song of Queen songs.
Maybe, yeah. Who Wants to Live Forever, though? Actually, this is probably the easiest one to pick for me, really. Highlander, that film, when it came out, or video, sorry, when it came out on video, I think, because I was too young to see it at the cinema. That sort of shaped my geekiness and things like that, and this is why I love for Queen, I think, really like came to the surface, and this song, it is literally all the way through the film. It's just all the way through. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a really emotional song as well, and that's one if you listen to headphones and you're just in a dark room, it's just incredible as well, so...
It's exactly where I was last night at 10 o'clock when I was going, yeah, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, so that
is... And it's written back in 1986 as well, and by Brian May, which, if you didn't know those two facts, you would be adamant that it's a Freddie Mercury penned song writing about his end of days, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? But it just proves like how talented all the writers are in the band. You know, they can all interchange with each other and that kind of thing. So I think Bohemian Rhapsody was my surprise as well when I found out that Freddie did it all, including the musical arrangement. It's just incredible that. So anyway, so that one is now unanimous. Who Wants to Live Forever? Not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I'd like to point that out.
Excellent. That's a different show entirely.
But if you want to answer that question, me, please. That'd be nice.
Next up, we have Somebody to Love versus Headlong. Somebody to Love was written by Freddie Mercury, released in 1976. Can't believe it's that old because of what came afterwards. From A Day at the Races, Something to Love? Somebody to Love was a massive hit in 1976 and number one again in 1991 when a live version by George Michael and Queen from the Freddie Mercury tribute concert was released. Headlong was taken from the album Innuendo and released in May 1991. How do you not like Innuendo, Stu? It's got Headlong on there as well. A characteristically fast-paced Queen rocker. This was the first release in the USA for the band's new label, Hollywood Records. The video was shot in the London studios where most of the album had been recorded. So, Somebody to Love is one of Queen's finest songs. There's no doubt about it. It's full of raw emotion, one of the best and complex multi-layered vocal arrangements. But I think it became synonymous with the death of Freddie with the Queen, George Michael, Lisa Stansfield version from the tribute concert.
See, when I think of that song, I never, ever even that comes into my head. It's the
No,
Queen
really?
version.
Neither.
No, not at all.
Neither.
To be fair, I can't even remember what that version sounds like. I'd have to look it up. Wouldn't I?
And I'm not going to.
No,
I'm
I
not
don't
going
need
to,
to.
no.
I've got the one I want.
No, I really.
I don't need that. I don't need that in my brain. I've got the Queen version.
Nothing
which
against
is
those
amazing.
artists. Nothing at all. But like as you say, for me, never. Just doesn't.
Yeah, it's like what I don't understand why that song was released from the tribute concert when none of the others were, and there wasn't an album for the tribute concert either, was there?
No. Well, I was there, so.
No.
So it's like, and
I remember watching it on telly.
Did you see me? Waving.
Yeah, I remember. I remember so going, there's Stu, who I don't know yet.
In the future Stu.
In the future Stu. He looks so young.
I think I'm going to go with Somebody to Love, not only because of how great a song it is, but I think it is etched into the history of Queen and the whole Queen story as well, because of that tribute concert and what it meant and things like that. So yeah, for me, Somebody to Love. Headlong is a great song.
Is it? Okay, tell me your thoughts on Headlong. I'm intrigued.
I just really like Headlong. It's just that whole rockiness of it. Does it compare? It could be other songs from the. Can it beat somebody? No.
No, okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm talking shite. It's Somebody to Love.
Excellent.
100%.
Good choice.
I'm going to go with Duane because you're hinting there that was where you're going. So I'm going to go with Duane to.
Well, this might be a bit of a shocker for some of you. I really like Headlong. I think it's a great song. I don't care what you fuck off, Stu. It's a great song. And with that said, I'm going to have to say my choice here is Somebody to Love.
Okay.
Because it's quintessential Queen. It's those tight harmonies. It's just if you were to get people to do so. Okay, so do you know Ken Bruce does 3 in Popmaster 3 in 10. If you were to do 3 in 10 for Queen, or even 5 in 10 or 10 in 10 for Queen, I don't think anybody would say Headlong is like a very sort of one of those grab one, super quick ones. Oh, that's one of their songs.
I don't think they would say Somebody to Love either.
I think they would.
I think they would.
I think that would be higher up the list.
I think you'll find though. Sorry, they'll
Headlong.
be thinking of the Queen version, not the other version. What you're thinking of?
George Michael version.
That's why I don't think they would pick it, because they would be more inclined to go, "Oh, that was George Michael."
I don't think they would.
They would be wrong.
No. There's a whole list of songs which, if you get people to list Queen songs, Headlong would be quite low down. I mean, it's a great song, don't get me wrong, but it'd be quite low down in people's conscience. I just think Somebody's Love is a much better Queen song. Now, Stu.
My 2 cents worth is Headlong is the only song on this album which should not be there, and it's awful. Awful, 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 awful. Don't like it. Don't like the lyrical delivery. Don't like the sound of it. The guitaring goes on. It's not original in any way. It's just boring, 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 boring. Don't like it. Never liked it before it was on this album. Don't like it, and I won't like it. I don't have to like it. Somebody to Love, though. Effing love that song. It's a great song. It's a Queen song. Right. Done. See? Easy.
Battle commenced and finished.
No,
and completed.
I mean, Headlong. This is what I was trying to ask you. What do you like about Headlong? Because I can't. There's nothing on that song I like.
That's the thing. I like Headlong, but I can't tell you why I like.
Oh, okay.
Headlong.
That's fair enough.
It's like I just can't. I've noticed this a lot of times when we're doing Album Armageddon. It's like you really like a song, but you can't pinpoint the reason why you're picking one song over the other.
It just speaks to you. Sometimes songs just speak to you.
And I can't tell you why I like Headlong, but I can tell you why I like Somebody to Love.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I think I'm going to stick with my point. It's committed in stone. It's unanimous. It's Somebody to Love.
Yes, it is. No.
So, the next battle is Now I'm Here versus The Miracle. Now I'm Here was written by Brian May from the Sheer Heart Attack album and released in January of 1975. Brian wrote the song whilst recovering from hepatitis and was told he may never fully recover. The lyrics are based on his experiences of Queen supporting Mott the Hoople on tour. That's just so much randomness in one paragraph. The Miracle was the title track from the album, The Miracle, and released in November 1989. It was the first time that EMI had released 5 singles from a Queen album.
That is madness.
The video featured 4 young Queen lookalikes who performed the song, leaving the real band to make a cameo appearance at the end of the video. The song describes several of God's creations, great and small, and great buildings like the Golden Gate Bridge, the Taj Mahal, and the Tower of Babel, all described as miracles in the song. Yet the one miracle we're all waiting for is peace on earth and an end to war. The song also references well-known figures such as Captain Cook, Cain and Abel, and Jimi Hendrix. Stu, what are you thinking?
Miracles, that's another one which is okay, but I really do like. Now, you know, I've said this before, I'm not really a guitar solo person at all. Just, they don't really interest me. And I'll tell you what beat it out of me as well on that was Iron Maiden, because that's all about the guitar solo now. However, Miracle, though, does have a really... I find the song quite corny, or what do I like to call songs like? It's going to be an insult, but it's really not meant to be. It's like a lazy song. It's like rhyming, you know, words together. You know, it's like it's a miracle. Oh, birds, they're a miracle, and oh, cabbages, they're a miracle too. You know,
Yeah.
Even though he didn't say anything like that, but it's like okay, because I'm not, but there's a really wicked guitar solo which I actually really like, which is not like me at all. So, but now I'm here. The sound of it's great. The lyrics I think are great. I like the space. I'm here. That silliness about it. I don't know. It's a serious song. It's Now I'm Here. That's what I'm voting for. But the Miracle it's one of those. I suppose it's like, why do you like Headlong? I suppose it's like, why do I like the Miracles? I know to me the lyrics are bad in that song. They're just very lazy lyrics or whatnot. But there's some really wicked music in there as well. So, but I'm going to go over Now I'm Here.
Okay, Duane?
Yeah, so I've listened, like I said, it's been like 25 years since I've listened to these albums like properly, and I think when I was listening to this last night, I kind of have to agree with Stu. The lyrics on this one are quite... I kind of felt like they were like... It's difficult to describe, but obvious. Like they were too obvious.
Lazy.
Lazy. So it's a great song, don't get me wrong. But is it better than Now I'm Here? No.
No.
Now I'm Here is a much better song. I mean, it's got a lot more stuff going on. I mean, great, like I say, Miracle, agree with Stu, cracking guitar solo. But Now I'm Here, it's like, I think it's just a bit more interesting musically. I think interesting musically speaks to me a lot these days.
But also, I think the recording technique back then as well was quite interesting. The way the layering.
Oh,
it
definitely.
And stuff, so yeah,
definitely. So Miracle, I love it. Don't get me wrong, it's a great song, and against some of the other songs, maybe it might have won against like some of the like other Greatest Hits 1 tracks, but not Now I'm Here.
No, my notes for this my initial notes were, fuck me, Freddie's definition of miracle is almost as bad as Alanis Morissette's definition of ironic.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Nailed
It's
it.
like, these are not fucking miracles, Freddie. Oh, it's the Golden Gate Bridge. That's a miracle. No, it's not. It's a fucking
it's a
building. Someone built it. It's not like you rocked up the next day. Oh, there it is. For me, Miracle only really, really gets going in the last minute or so of the song. Yeah. It's like a 3-minute intro to that last minute. And I just love the recording technique of Now I'm Here, with Freddie on the left side and his harmonies on the right, and then on the next line it flips over and it's reversed. Yeah, and a great blues rock riff by May as well on that track. Yeah. So
Unanimous.
for me, it's unanimous again. It's Now I'm Here.
Good choice. I agree.
Okay, good old fashioned lover boy versus I'm going slightly mad. I think this sums up the whole where I'm going to go with this one. My notes for Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy, written by Freddie Mercury, another release from A Day at the Races in May 1977. It was one of 4 tracks released on Queen's first EP. That's it. That's your lot. I'm Going Slightly Mad is taken from the Innuendo album, released in March 1991. A complete change of pace and mood for the second single. The lyrics and the accompanying monochrome music video project, which featured the band interacting with a penguin and a gorilla, was humorous and light-hearted, despite the lyrics actually dealing with the mental decline Mercury was experiencing as one of the effects of having advancing AIDS. So, brought the room down a bit there. So, Duane, where are we going?
Oh, this one's super tricky. I don't know. So, Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy. It's a good song. Like, there's some like cracking sort of like arrangement stuff going on here with like the vocals and everything, like and the counter melodies and that kind of thing. So it's actually really, really good. I mean, it's a great song. Great song. But I'm going slightly mad. I think it kind of stands as like a marker, like you said. It's kind of like a point in his life and his like songwriting career as like something a little bit different, like say a bit melancholy. And I think that can't be ignored. I think it's kind of an acknowledgement there kind of has to sort of be made about how, you know, he knew he was like probably like didn't have too long to live because he had like AIDS, and that was, sorry, this is getting quite miserable. I don't know. Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy.
Okay, was you going to vote for Going Slightly Mad because you felt guilty or obligated to because it was to make
okay, it's a good song, but I just think Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy just kind of pips it slightly, just because I think it just does stuff more musically interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there might have been like a sort of sense of obligation. I'd like to go, oh, you can have to like say it's like blah blah blah, but yeah, I think as a song, yeah, Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy for me.
Okay. Go on, sorry. You do this one.
Okay, you probably don't. I can't imagine you two being fans of these. But does anyone else here take that shine in Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy? Just like the whole style of it influencing Take That for that song.
Can't even remember
Possibly.
what Take That song.
I'm not super familiar with a lot of Take That stuff.
I'm talking to the 2 biggest Take That fans in existence. Yeah, I really got that same sort of vibes with Take That Shine in Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy. However, I don't think either of these songs would appear on many people's lists if you asked them to name 10 Queen songs.
No. I don't think they would.
It's a hard one. I'm not going to be sad. I'm not sad if one of them doesn't make it on, which one of them won't. But I think I'm going to go for I'm Going Slightly Mad. Just because the point of where it is in Freddie Mercury's life, released 8 months before, and this is when they were denying that he was ill as well.
Oh yeah.
So in hindsight, it's quite a heavy song.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing
connotation with it.
Yeah, knowing what we know now, it's huge in the history of Queen. Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy is more up and atom and happy-go-lucky Friday night, looking for a night of revelry type thing. 2 completely different songs, 2 amazingly completely different songs, but both really good. Yeah, I'm going Slightly Mad. That's me. I'm set.
Well, that's good now, because now we have which one do I pick? Which one wins? I love Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy. I can't stand the music in I'm Going Slightly Mad. I think it's terrible. Lyrically, though, oh God, it's monotonous. No, it's just bad music. But lyrically, it's really sad, and it's. Yeah, I remember being in the Queen fan club and going to conventions and stuff, and even the organisation, because it was actually the Queen themselves who organised the fan club thing. They were denying he was ill all the way to the end, and it's just like, but he's ill. We know he's ill, and they're also denying he was gay. They go, but we know he's gay. Why are you? I don't even understand why you denying it. I don't. It's fine. Everybody's all right with it. So I don't really know what the problem is. So
here's a question for you with what you said there. If you didn't know Queen, and someone asked you, "Is I'm Going Slightly Mad a Queen song or a Freddie Mercury solo project?"
Freddie Mercury solo. 100%.
Yeah,
it's not a Queen song.
As much as I've picked it, I don't hear Queen in it.
No. I feel like I would be picking this because I'd feel obligated because of guilt. But I've got another one for that one later, and I genuinely do like that one as well. Where this one I don't actually like as much. I do think Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy is a far better song. I like the change of style. It's just like, oh, they're playing some, I don't even know what kind of style of music, very English, kind of seaside-y, kind of just night. I don't know. It's a completely different pace. It shows what kind of chops they've got. They can do other things as well. And they've proven, actually, to be fair, they've proven they can do all types of genres of music. Now, whether they do them well or not, that's obviously a very personal opinion. But they've experimented with electronica music, obviously heavy rock, soft rock, all the rocks, all the different types. So, but I'm going to go for Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy. I do think it's just a better song, and also that encapsulates what Queen were more than I'm Going Slightly Mad, which has got the most monotonous, annoying riff.
Well.
Yeah. Oh God, no. I was listening to that today, and I had to turn it off. I went, no. I've made up my mind.
Press play. Nope.
It's gone.
Nope.
Right there.
Skip.
Next up, we have Play of the Game versus The Invisible Man. Play of the Game was written by Freddie Mercury and released in May 1980. The video featured Freddie with his first moustache, which caused outrage with some fans who threw razors at the singer at subsequent live shows.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, what?
Different time.
Oh, definitely.
What the hell?
The Invisible Man
flabbergasted. Absolutely flabbergasted.
Do you need a minute, Duane, for that one? Can you imagine just rocking up with a moustache and having Gillettes thrown at you?
Yeah, oh god. So I've been at gigs where people throw stuff at stage, but never in never in anger. So I've seen the Bare Naked Ladies a few times. So their song $1 Million,
mm-hmm.
and they talk about craft dinners. Yeah, they say we won't have to eat craft dinners, but people will throw craft dinners up onto stage, and that's like a funny thing. It's like ha ha ha, they're throwing craft dinners, but to do something in anger like that, fucking shave your fucking mustachioed whatever. What? Where do people get off with this shit?
But not even just in anger. Fucking razor blades.
It's a razor blade. You could kill someone.
Or give them a really close shave.
I hope it was a safety razor blade. Sorry. Carry on.
The Invisible Man, taken from the Miracle album, released in August 1989. The video for the single was one of the band's most light-hearted but innovative videos, which featured, wait for this, a 15-year-old Daniela Westbrook before she was signed up for EastEnders.
Really?
Yeah, apparently so. I even had to check. And yes, she was. So I'll go first on this one, because if you haven't listened to The Invisible Man on headphones, then we can't have a conversation about this battle at all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can.
For me, this is one of the top 3 spatial audio recordings ever made.
Wow.
Play the Game as possibly one of the most jarring, out-of-place intros on the entire Queen catalogue, but does highlight Queen's vocal harmonies and May's soaring guitars. And I know we always say on the beginning of every show, we don't dissect the tone or the key or the intricacies of the song on the show. Well-recorded spatial audio recordings always blow me away. And I am going with The Invisible Man. Guitar chords are split between the left speaker and the right speaker.
We're a bigger fan of that here, aren't we? So
Oh yeah, we are a huge fan of like things bouncing between my left ear and my right ear. So yeah, for me, quite simply, Invisible Man.
cool.
Stu?
Right. Again, this what album was this from? That Miracle, that was it. So Miracle, that's when I literally bought the 12-inch, the picture 12-inch, the 7-inch, the picture 7-inch,
Contributed
the
to 2
tape,
million
the
sales
CD,
to Queen's
the
catalog.
EB, blah 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 blah. At the time, really, really liked it. I think it's one of those tracks, so it doesn't age very well. It's got that very, remember Zizig Sputnik, that very over, not a very good bass line. It's a very computer generated bass line. It's just not very good in that sense.
What was the best? That's the
Yeah, and it's okay. And you are right though about recording. I have listened to it on headphones, and it's a really nice song, and it does bounce around. It's and all that stuff. But I don't know. It was like a lot of artists when they were fantastic in the 70s, and then they hit the 80s, and then something just happened, and they just had to try and put a synthesizer on everything they could, and like Elton John or Stevie Wonder and all those people, they had their heyday, and unfortunately, the miracle is around that time where they're losing what they were to me. It's a good song. I mean, it does deserve to be on a greatest hits album. I'm not going to deny that at all. Because also, I've probably bought 50 copies, so it's got to go on there.
And put it on the greatest hits album.
But I think it's tough because Play the Game is good, and I don't know. I like the breaks in Play the Game as well. I'm going to go for Play the Game. It to me, it's more of a Queen song, but Invisible Man is a good song, and if it was on the album, if it got booted out, because I don't know what Duane's going to vote for, So yeah, Play the Game.
Okay, I'm not going
Right.
to mention what does annoy me about the Invisible Man because I don't want to steer Duane in any direction.
Is the
until he's
thing that annoys you the name checking?
No,
And
no,
that is
I
annoying,
think
isn't it?
that do you know what Yeah, well, I always heard that. No, that's not what annoys me. Tell you what really annoys me, and it's going back to that synths element. And obviously, Queen was no synths, and there was a big thing of that. And it's like every time they finish the "I am the Invisible Man,"
Oh, it's a stab.
yeah, and it's like, why is that there? Is it there to highlight this? He's the Invisible Man? Has he disappeared again? What's?
And what were your ears telling you when you were listening to it? Was it bouncing around?
No, but because that bit doesn't bounce around.
It doesn't. It's just in the middle.
Yeah.
It just sits in the middle. It's there, and it's like it's so alien to the rest of the song, apart from the name checking, which is completely fucking random.
I know. Okay, so anyway, so I have my say now. Okay, I love Invisible Man. I think it's a great song. Even taking into account and the name checking.
Freddie Mercury!
Brian May. Why does Brian make it 2?
I don't know. Because he's twice as important as everybody else. Even including those things, I think Invisible Man, and even like the overly synthesized like bass line. Because I was listening to that last night going, could I learn, like, because I think, I'm not sure if it's like synthesizing, there's like a double thing going on, or if Brian's playing, like doubling up the bass. So it's like kind of a bit weird. Couldn't quite figure it out. But I love Play the Game. Again, it's down to those kind of like this classic Queen, like great harmonies, like the kind of interesting stuff going on. This was probably one of the harder ones because God damn it, this is hard. I'm gonna have to say Play the Game. I thought I was going to go Invisible Man, but I'm actually going Play the Game.
I've managed to convince you otherwise.
I switched. I flipped at the last second. I thought I was going to go Invisible Man. This is how close this is, people, honestly.
Yeah.
This is how close this is.
Thinking of things that are close, this won't be the case in this one. It's Flash versus Hammer to Fall. That's very much one of my points. Flash, written by Brian May, released in May 1998. No, it wasn't even released anywhere near that time. It was released in May 1980. Yes, and it was off the Flash Gordon soundtrack. This was Queen's first outing into the world of movies. The single was written whilst actually watching the footage of the movie. There are two versions of the song. The album version, which features all of the dialogue from the first scene of the movie, and the single version, which is featured on the Greatest Hits album, which features various dialogues cut from the movie, including Brian Blessed's famous Gordon's Alive!
Gordon's Alive!
Hammer to Fall was written by Brian May and was the fourth and final single from the works, released in September 1984. The song is Queen in their heaviest rock, guys, and the question of the meaning of the song was effectively settled when May wrote on his website that Hammer to Fall is really about life and death and being aware of death as being part of life, and that the hammer coming down is only a symbol of the Grim Reaper doing his job. Brian's a fucking killjoy at parties, isn't he?
Yep.
So, this is the one where I'm going to get a reaction from Stu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think the album version highlights that the song is a theme rather than an actual song. Imagine this version that you got on the Greatest Hits album without any movie dialogue.
We're talking about Flash, first of all. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But luckily for Flash, it's not the version included here. I mean, Flash is iconic. Everyone knows Flash.
He's for every one of us.
I mean, it was even...
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it was even badly sampled in a certain hip-hop album.
Go back to episode 2 to listen.
Yes. It's not even the best track on the Flash Gordon album. For me, The Hero was the better track of the Flash Gordon album.
That is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hammer to Fall is one of the best Queen live tracks. And whilst it's not quite as good when studio based, it's still in a different league to Flash. I don't like Flash. I don't see what the fascination of is. I don't even think it's a full song.
Don't you like fun, Simon? I
don't like fun.
We hate fun.
Okay, so that's your vote.
Stu, where's your?
There is no real reaction at all. I when I was a kid, I used to love the album Flash. I thought it was a great album anyway, and I remember saving up my money to buy it because I was really, really excited. I wanted it, but that was the album where I actually wanted to buy myself with my own money, kind of thing. It is a good album. You are right. It's just a theme, and really, and on the album as well, there's lots of. It's just a lot of instrumental because it is meant to go with the film. So, and there's very few songs in there really. Hammer to Fall, though. I really like that song. I think I like that song more than Flash itself. I just do. I mean, Flash is a great song. Flash is a happy, happy song. But as a kid, when I listened to Hammer to Fall, I didn't think of it death and depressing and all that. It's a great song. Yay! So I do think out of those two against each other, Hammer to Fall is the better song. But I've had so much fun with Flash. It's a great song. It's just a fun song.
It's not a great song.
It is.
It's just
why?
Right.
Awful. Why? Okay, go on, Duane. You go.
So the thing about Flash is, I think it's got to be taken in context of what it's with. And that's the Flash Gordon movie. Obviously, if anybody is in any doubt about that's where it's from. So yeah, it has to be, and within context of the movie, it's great because it's just part of that, like, really kind of cheesy camp kind of like, and for within that context, it works brilliantly. But as a standalone song, no.
As a single, even
as a single, songs which normally possibly wouldn't do so well, possibly get like a bigger like life than they should have because they're tied with movies.
Yeah.
Like Love Is All Around by Wet Wet Wet. That should not have been number one for 15, 16 weeks. I mean, it's an okay song, but because it's tied to Four Weddings, it's like it has a thing. I'm not saying Flash is as big as Four Weddings, because it's not. But
Yeah, but in that song, they don't mention the word Four Weddings and a Funeral.
no,
This
they don't.
song mentions the
It
film.
stands alone as a song in its own. I mean, it's a cover version of something else, and the bloody Bryan Adams one as well. I mean, it's not a great song particularly, but because it's tied to a movie that was popular over that summer, it did well. So there's kind of like a bit of like freedom you kind of allow songs when they're tied to movies. Hammer to Fall, it has to be. It's a great song. Lyrically much more interesting than Flash. He's for every one of us. Just a man in a man's world.
But I wouldn't have known Flash unless it was for the film. I loved the film when I was a kid.
So if it wasn't for the film, you probably wouldn't even know it. And I think it's just here as like a token gesture almost. I think if you put Hammer to Fall. Also, if you put Hammer to Fall against most of the other songs on Greatest Hits 1, it might not fare so well. I think it's been given a bye because it's against Flash. It's a great song, but I think against other Greatest Hits 1 tracks...
Actually, sorry.
Well.
You are so wrong. I've got more rise out of him than your comments.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
totally.
Absolutely ridiculous.
What? You didn't get the rise out of me.
I actually thought it was going to be the comment about the badly sampled.
No.
And also, we must say that if Brian's going to continue to be a killjoy at parties about the meaning of these songs, then we really need to hook him up with Hawaiian Bruce.
Hawaiian Bruce. Mental health Bruce.
Mental health Bruce. So next up, we have the Seven Seas of Rhye versus Friends Will Be Friends. Seven Seas of Rhye was written by Freddie Mercury and released on Queen 2 in February 1974. A taster for the track was featured at the close of the band's debut album, but the full version was only heard on Queen 2. The song gave their band their very first British chart entry and first appearance on Top of the Pops. Friends Will Be Friends was written by Freddie Mercury and John Deacon and taken from their Kind of Magic album and released in June 1986. A traditional Queen anthem that was released to coincide with the Magic Tour and also marked the band's 30th British single release. Duane, where are your thoughts on Friends and Seas?
I love Friends Will Be Friends. I think it's a great song. It's quite sing-alongy, but Seven Seas of Rhye fucking rocks. It's just fucking...
Yes, it does.
Awesome. It's just amazing. I just can't. It's just got... It just kicks. It's just... Yeah, Seven Seas of Rhye for me on this one. It's just too easy. Don't get me wrong, love Friends Will Be Friends. But Seven Seas of Rhye... Even that little thing at the end, oh, we do like to be beside the seaside. Like, even that, which you'd think normally is annoying, but no, it works. It works really well, and it's just great. Fucking love it.
I think we've got a vote for the Seas there.
I think so. Sorry, it was very, very short and sweet on that one. It's just, I can't spin it out. Seven Seas are right.
Mate, I'm exactly the same. To me, the piano intro to Seven Seas is just iconic. You know, like, I think that if you played that, everyone would get it. And I like Friends Will Be Friends, but I always kind of saw it as like the lazy, laid-back brother of We Are the Champions.
Yep.
You know, it just... It's singy, it doesn't compare. For me, it's Seven Seas of Rhye. So either completely insignificant opinion, Stu, or we're going through another unanimous.
Friends Will Be Friends is what was that song what you referred to earlier on, Duane, where it's the one where it's good but you've heard it or played it that much that you are so sick of it that you'd be quite happy never to hear it ever again, and you would never miss it. But you know you can give it a nod.
It's always there.
It's a good song.
There, but you're like going, I've just
however
too much.
If I never hear it ever again, I'm quite happy. Seven Seas of Rhye, on the other hand, I'm quite happy to listen to that another 50, 100 times. not in accession, obviously, but no, it's a great song. Everything what you've said, the piano at the start, when it gets going, and right at the end, when it just goes into this, we are beside the seaside, it's like a left field thing. It's just brilliant. So, and that's like really early Queen as well, which is fantastic. I mean, the early Queen is, you could argue it's the superior Queen, really, at the end of the day. And that's all there from there. So 7 Seas of Rhye gets from me. So that's an unanimous vote on that one.
Excellent. I don't think we will get that on this one, though, because we're bringing out the big guns again. It is We Will Rock You versus The Show Must Go On. We Will Rock You was written by Brian May on the News of the World album. The track was released in October 1977 as a double A-side with We Are the Champions. The coupling made #1 in the US. In France, We Will Rock You was the A-side and held the #1 spot for 10 weeks, at which point it was disposed by We Are the Champions by the order of the French chart authority. Like, what the fuck?
The government stepped in and go, no.
The government stepped in because it's been there for 2 weeks. And there's another great scene in the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, which highlights how the track was made and came to be and the techniques they used on this. The Show Must Go On was released in October 1991 and taken from the Innuendo album, which we all know is Stu's favourite album, as a precursor to the Greatest Hits 2 album. This was the band's 40th British single release. The song was written and performed in the knowledge that Freddie's days were running out. When the band recorded the song, Mercury's condition had deteriorated to the point that May had concerns as to whether he was physically capable of singing it. Brian May recalls, I said, Fred, I don't know if this is going to be possible to sing. And he went, I'll fucking do it, darling. Downed a double shot of vodka and went in and killed it. Completely lacerated the vocal. So, these are 2 huge fuck-off size tracks. So where are we looking? Duane.
Oh, piss off. Why'd you do this?
I'll go. I'll go if you want me to. Do you want me to go?
No, it's fine. I'll go first. So this is actually really, really tricky. We Will Rock You is an iconic Queen song as you can get. It's
legendary.
It is. And musically, there's not a lot going on. It's just the kick and the clap, really, isn't it? It's all the kick and the sound, like the boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, and it just does that.
It's the groove of it, though. It's the
That's
groove.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Until Brian May's fucking soaring solo at the end as an outro, and it's just, I can't imagine, because I think the idea was, wasn't it, that when he wrote it, it's like basically the crowd becomes the band and they play the song with the dum dum ch, dum dum. That's
the only instrument they've got.
Yeah, so they can basically play the song. So imagine how fucking awesome and epic that would be in a stadium, like being part of that. Oh, it's just mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing. But The Show Must Go On. Again, it's kind of, you're looking at that kind of end of days for Freddie, and you're kind of like going, he's kind of like that kind of very melancholy, and I don't like this. I do not like this one bit. As much as I love both of these songs, just for the sheer iconic level of We Will Rock You, it's going to have to be We Will Rock You, I think. But it's tricky. It's so tricky. Now one of you other fuckers can.
And that person's Stu.
Everything what Duane said, We Will Rock You is possibly, apart from being Bohemian Rhapsody, that's the other song people go, oh, it's that band, isn't it? That Queen band. If they've never heard of Queen, they just know that song.
You just play it
very simple. Yeah, and that is so simplistic. And but the way Freddie, it's like skips with the lyrics. You know, it's just very the groove in that song, even though there's not much of a groove going on. It's just very rudimental. It's just fantastic. But that song didn't put goosebumps on the back of my neck like The Show Must Go On does. That song, I don't know, maybe it spoke to me more at the time because I was so into Queen, and and also Freddie
It
passed
resonated
away,
more
and it was
with
just
what's
it
going
was
on,
just that song went some of it is a bit naff. It's really weird. Some of it just the modulars are wrong and it just goes along. But then there's some of that song he just kicks it and you're going, oh, how he's nearly dead, that man, and he belted that out, and the lyrics are really dark and sad because when you know after the fact, it's like what all happened. It's just like. So my vote is actually going to Show Must Go On because it had more of an effect on me than Will Rock You. Will Rock You though is an absolute classic anthem. You cannot deny. It's like AC/DC, classic anthem. So, but it does have to be Show Must Go On for me, I'm afraid. Not afraid. I love it. No, that's what I'm picking. Right, so you got the worst job.
Yeah. I was just fucking...
See what he did there? See what he did there?
Right. We Will Rock You. We've said it all. It's legendary. There is no other song that... I don't think there's any other song that transgresses music like We Will Rock You. There is not a person in this world that likes music that doesn't know that they need to clap if they hear. Go to
it's
any
in your DNA.
crowd.
It's in your DNA.
It is. It's in the DNA of everyone that likes music. You go to any concert and that sound engineer is doing a sound check and he plays We Will Rock You and you hear dun dun. That entire crowd, it doesn't matter if you're in a Queen concert, it doesn't matter if you're in a Harry Styles concert, a Carrie Underwood concert, you hear that dun dun, you're guaranteed that crowd is clapping. And I know that's exactly what they wanted, but they could never have foreseen how iconic that was going to become. Absolutely exactly. No way. I think even someone did it at Glastonbury that like they shouldn't have been doing. I think it was someone like Tom Grennan did like the stamp clap, and the entire crowd of Glastonbury was doing it.
Because it's inbred. It's inbred into us now.
It's inbred.
Yeah.
However, it is also a very fucking basic song. And knowing what you know about the whole story of Queen, The Show Must Go On is just a landmark song. And we've said this about 3 or 4 times now through the show. It's a landmark song in their history. But not only that, it ticks all of the Queen boxes. It's got fucking amazing vocals, which Freddie's own band members didn't think he was physically capable of now doing. And he did. And
fucking
he was pretty much
it.
on... Yeah, fucking... On Death's Door, he still fucking nailed it as a performer. Beautiful meaning, soaring guitars, great recording techniques again. It has to get my vote for all those reasons. As legendary as We Will Rock You are, The Show Must Go On must go on.
Yeah.
Controversial. I'm not saying I disagree, but
we all love We Will Rock You, though.
But we all love We Will Rock You.
I think we've praised We Will Rock You and spoke about it more than we have actually spoke about The Show Must Go On. So we've got to give it that, at least.
And I think it's just we've got to justify that.
Yeah, I think we have to, yeah.
Why we're not putting it on. More than why we're putting The Show Must Go On on. Okay, so that one was fucking painful. So the last battle we have is We Are the Champions versus One Vision. We Are the Champions was written by Freddie Mercury. As previously mentioned, it was a double A side with We Will Rock You. After its release, the song became the emotional climax to every single live show right through to their last concert with Freddie in August 1986. This tradition has carried over to the Queen plus Adam Lambert tours, and it is still the very last song played on all live shows. One Vision is the complete opposite. It was released in 1985 and eventually appeared on the Kind of Magic album. The song was recorded after the band's triumphant appearance at Live Aid, and the song was inspired by the life and exploits of Martin Luther King Jr., with the lyrics recounting a man battling and overcoming the odds. In the 2011 BBC documentary Queen Days of Our Lives, Taylor stated his lyrics were sort of half nicked off of Martin Luther King's famous speech, innit? Um, this song is now the concert opener for every single live show of Queen.
Really?
So we have the legendary Queen concert opener in One Vision versus the legendary Queen concert closer in We Are the Champions.
Wow.
What a way to end.
Wow.
So, Stu, what do you think? What is getting your vote?
Well, to me, it's an easy one, and it's a very quick, and I really don't think I need to even describe why, but it's We Are the Champions. It's like the We Will Rock Yous of this world. It's like the Bohemian Rhapsodies of this world. You know, it's like it's just, One Vision's great, and it's a great starter. It is actually to open a concert as well. I'd love it. It'd be absolutely amazing. I'd be upset if they open with I'd be upset if they open with Bohemian Rhapsody, because that one you need near the end. You need to pack that one at the back. But it's We're the Champions. But that song harks back to Friends Will Be Friends to me. I've heard it so many times. So many times. Maybe I ought to go and listen to some remixes to make it a bit more interesting, because it listen to it all the time. But is it the better song of the two? Yes, it is. We Are the Champions, because if you're going to end on there, you want everybody in that gig to be crying and the happiest they've ever been, and swaying, walking out there going, they are the best band, and here's my credit card, I've bought the tickets for the next gig. You know, that is that song, because everybody's like, that's audience participation 101, that song. Absolutely brilliant. So that gets my vote. We Are the Champions. Okay.
I'm going to jump in here so then we can give Duane the honour of finishing it up and making the decision as the guest.
Okay.
Fuck
you. We Are the Champions. I mean, if you have supported any sports team that has won something, you know We Are the Champions. And again, it's iconic, but I don't know if it's burnout from this, constantly hearing it, or is it the uplifting nature of One Vision? As much as all the words you said of how great We Are the Champions is to finish a concert, I think you can say the same for One Vision starting a concert. The synthy, swirly intro going around the concert, and then May's guitar just kicking in. Fucking amazing. That crowd is bouncing. I don't even know if the fact that it's big climax is gimme, gimme, gimme fried chicken, which is completely fucking random and has no, it doesn't, he's not mentioned any other type of food in the whole song.
It speaks of Flav.
Yeah, clearly he's speaking of fucking Flav. It's like he's just randomly decided KFC's where it's at. And
other fried chicken outlets are available.
But and they've got an amazing recording technique, because, well, with that swirliness, if you're listening to that on headphones, that is actually swirling around your head. And I can imagine at a gig that's swirling around the stadium, and because I can imagine that being a pre-recorded element of the show before the band kick.
The drums, where the drums kick
no,
in. No.
Yeah, the lasery, swirly synthesizer.
The weird vocal opener that you thought. Yeah.
So it's like, right, for me, it's One Vision. Whoa. I'm going to go with the complete opposite, because I think it's as good as opener as it is as We Are the Champions a closer. It's not going to make me sad, so you don't have to worry about that, Duane. And I can see you shaking your head, so I can guess where you're going.
Now. I hate you. You put so much pressure on me.
So,
right now.
As our esteemed guest for this bonus episode, you have the decision of making.
I originally I said this was an honour, but it's been fucking grueling, honestly. So, yeah, I was actually going to echo that exact same thing you're talking about with like the sports teams. It's like, both. I mean, Stu, you know how I feel about sports. Go team.
It's exactly the same as I feel. When Si was talking about, when you hear it all, I was like, do you?
Yeah,
do you?
No, you do.
I
You
don't
absolutely do. It's like, you always
Do
like
you?
hear it.
Okay.
And it's like, I mean, I fucking love the song. Don't get me wrong, but there is kind of like there is an element, as Si said, there is an element of burnout with it. It's like it's just one of those songs you just hear all the time. Like you say, it like stadiums for like sports fixtures and that kind of thing.
And do you know what? When you have that, and when it's your team that's won and singing it, it's the best fucking song in the world.
Yeah.
But when it's a team you detest that wins it and is singing that, it's
You
the
are
worst
the
song in the world.
losers. Yeah. Yeah, rub it in your face. But One Vision is just a great song. I completely agree with Si. It's just, it kind of, it kicks. It's just, it drives. It's really driving. Yeah, musically, it's like, it's not particularly a super interesting song, but, songs don't have to. Like, it just kind of, like, pushes along at a really, like, good speed. I always thought, for some reason, like it would be like tied quite well, like a Top Gun-esque type film, like with like flight, like watching people like flying and stuff. I don't know what in my head. That's just like what this is tricky.
The pain.
The pain. This is really, really painful. This is probably one of the most painful ones because I do love One Vision and I do love, despite the overplay, like the fatigue with We Are the Champions. It's going to have to be, just because of the pure iconic sing-along nature, it's going to have to be We Are the Champions. And until that second, I didn't know which way I was going to go. We Are the Champions.
That is it. It is set in stone.
That's it. We have the super album. Wow. Sorry about that, Duane. But,
welcome to our world.
Yeah, welcome to our world.
It was fun. The problem is, but the thing is, when you're doing normal albums, when you get albums with filler, as long as those kind of coincide against other albums where you've got like what you'd call not filler, I imagine it's relatively easy in most cases to kind of go that one or that one, that one or that one. But this was hard, because
this one is particularly hard because we've not even had to edit any of the tracks. There's 17 on each album, so therefore it was a lot
17 apiece.
Yeah. So now it could have been a slightly different to which territory you actually listened to. I mean, we could have had a different order on that one. But anyway, should we have?
So that would be interesting to see how that play out.
Right, shall we have a recap then? Shall I run down of the order of the tracks?
Indeed.
Yeah,
I think you should.
What are we going to listen to?
So, reading from the top of the list of this super album. Right, so the first track will be Bohemian Rhapsody and Under Pressure, Killer Queen, I Want It All, I Want to Break Free, Innuendo, Don't Stop Me Now, Save Me, Who Wants to Live Forever, Somebody to Love, Now I'm Here, Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy, Play the Game, Hammer to Fall, Seven Seas of Rhye, The Show Must Go On, and We Are the Champions. 17 picked songs from us.
That's a pretty good split over the two albums as well.
That is a good album. I might listen to that, actually. So, Simon, what are we going to be calling this super album?
And the playlist title for this amazing super album, because the album titles are so similar, we're going to change it up a little bit for a bonus episode, and we're going to call this playlist title The Royal Decree.
Ooh, nice.
And it is a fine album. You know what? If Queen Estate wants to come to us and ask us to create an album for them, we've got it.
We've done it. They can just whack that playlist on and their lives are sorted. And they can find it, along with everyone else, on Spotify by searching for the title of the playlist, The Royal Decree, or alternatively, searching for the Album Armageddon profile, where you'll find both this playlist and all other playlists from our archive. Well, that just leaves us to send our love to our absent band members and to say goodbye until next time. So say goodbye, Duane.
Goodbye. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for popping along. And
That's what you're getting. It's been a pleasure.
Really? Was it?
Pleasure. Despite the mental turmoil, yes, it actually was a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure.
Excellent. And say goodbye, Stu.
Goodbye, everybody. Yeah, and thanks a lot, Duane, for stepping in as well.
You're welcome.
Awesome. I think we've got a good album there. And Simon, thank you very much for your
Thanks, Si, for inviting me along. This has been fun.
Excellent. No problem at all. And we will see you all next time.